I'm going to do this song it's called Mountains and Men, and it's about disappearing skills. And this is the encore really, because I don't know how far through the night we're going to get. I'm sorry about having to sit down, by the way. I've got a condition. I have. You've heard of RSI, refractive history. I've got OFI, all fat nidal. There's choruses. Some of you'll know these choruses, and those that you don't, you'll have to learn them from those who do. It's dead easy. Just watch the mouths and follow them like dead easy. Like Grace. You watch Grace like that. She knows them all. Watch the sheep grazing out over the hills on a patchwork of yellow and green. So the barns and the byres, the homesteads and farms, the miles of stone wall in between. From the valleys they reach to the skyline, from the mountains run down to the sea. And I wondered who'd given a lifetime of labour and what kind of men they'd be. These men with the will to move mountains, these men made of frail flesh and bone, who fashioned cathedrals and bridges and fountains from the cold and the unyielding stone, with granite for stable foundations, with marble from faraway lands, and know how passed down from all ages and nations to men with a skill in their hands. New light, telling old stained glass stories as it moves in the all-through night, singing the praises and ring the glories of high-vaulted ceilings and mosaic tiles, each stone cut and placed with precision, and each mortise and joint made to last by men with conviction and faith in the future from lessons they'd learned in the past. These men with a will to move mountains, these men made of frail flesh and bone, who fashioned cathedrals and bridges and fountains from the cold and the unyielding stone, with granite for stable foundations and marble from faraway lands, and know how passed down from all ages and nations to men with a skill in their hands. Where are the men poured the coal from the ground, who smelted the iron and steel, and who sweated and slaved in the forge and the foundry, who tempered and quenched and annealed, when Stevenson, Brunel and Brindley came up with his projects and schemes, who created the locks and the bridges and dams from the engineers' visions and dreams. They were men with the will to move mountains, they were men made of frail flesh and bone, who fashioned cathedrals and bridges and fountains from the cold and the unyielding stone, with granite for stable foundations and marble from faraway lands, and know how passed down from all ages and nations to men with a skill in their hands. Where are the smiths and the masons? Where are the craftsmen all gone? What do we leave to this new generation? What do we have to pass on to our sons? Crumbling concrete and plaster, only plastic and paint left to peel, not a stone wall or spire, not a belfry or byre, just a world full of smoke, glass and steel. Men with a will to move mountains, men made of frail flesh and bone, who fashioned cathedrals and bridges and fountains from the cold and the unyielding stone, with granite for stable foundations, with marble from faraway lands, and know-how passed down from all ages and nations to men with a skill in their hands, and know-how passed down from all ages and nations to men with a skill in their hands. I'm going to play this. You know what this is?
Scissor?
No, it's not a scissor. It's a small one of them. Do you know I'm from Stoke-on-Trent?
Yeah.
Or Smoke-on-Stench, as they used to call it. Have anybody been to Stoke-on-Trent? Have you been to Stoke? Anybody been?
Yes.
I mean on purpose.
Oh, yeah.
If you got lost looking for Macclesfield, that doesn't count. Well, apparently, I didn't know this, but I've got an accent. I mean, I know you lot have got an accent, but I didn't know I had one. And not only have we got an accent, we've got quite a strong dialect. And I thought I would do a song about Stoke and about the dialect. It's called the Potter's Alphabet. And it's basically, in case you just find yourself straying over the border into Manley, that this will give you a bit of an idea what people are talking about. Otherwise, you won't have a bloody clue. And so right, so we talk a bit funny like that, but you'll know that, Wedgwood, Boulton, Spode, all that kind of stuff, and Anna of the Five Towns. You heard that Arnold Bennett's Anna of the Five, most bloody boring book ever written. So Anna of the Five Towns, so it's Tunstall, Burslem, Hanley, Stoke, Fenton, and Longton. So, yeah. So not only can't we talk properly, we can't really count alphabets. Yeah. Now, so this song's the alphabet. I'm going to go through the alphabet and give you Stoke words for you to use in the future, if you feel yourself in need. And now I know the words. I've got no problem with the words. It's the alphabet I've got a bit of a problem with. So if you could just keep an eye on me, I'm looking a bit vacant. Perhaps you could just indicate what letter we're up to, because it gets a bit complicated around N. So let's see how we go. It's called the Potter's Alphabet. Oh, and of course, the first one is this here that says, "Hey up, Doc," which is what you'll get if you see anybody in Stoke. I took a guy who was visiting us from America, and I took him to a pub called The Vine in Tunstall, and he went through the door, and this bloke turned around to him and said, "Hey up, Doc, how at?" And I got this blank look at him, just completely. Is he English? That's not John the Pole, is it? I'm like, no, that's not John the Pole, he's not here tonight. And he said, he came out 2 hours later, he says, "I didn't understand a bloody word anybody said to me all night." So this is a bit of a guide for you. A's for A up, used when greeting your mates. B is for Bosty, when summit's dead great. And C is for Chonnocks, the young turnips are sweet. And D is for Daltons, making pots dine now straight. Potters lads, mums and dads, sisters and sons, they're first among equals, they're second to none. Well, they talk a bit funny, they sound a bit strange, but they give their last shilling and not ask for change. If you want to have a go at that, you'd be more than welcome. E is for ears, it's the passage of time. And F is for font, it's the past tense of find. G is for gizzit, as in please pass the ball. And we only use H when posh relatives call. Potters lads, mums and dads, sisters and sons, they're first among equals, they're second to none. Well, they talk a bit funny, they sound a bit strange, but they give their last shilling, not ask for change. Is it I? I's for Eileen, runs from Manley to Chell, and J is for Jed, it means worse than not well. K's for the costing, cost lend us £1. L is for Lozzock, that's dotting around. Potters lads, mums and dads, sisters and sons, they're first among equals, they're second to none. Well, they talk a bit funny, they sound a bit strange, but they give their last shilling, not ask for change. Come to you. Oh, M is for Mardas, they whinge and they whine, and N is for Nesh, when you're cold all the time. O's for oat cake, it's a food we all like, and P is for piplet, a juvenile pike. Potters lads, mums and dads, sisters and sons, they're singing first among equals, they're second to none. Well, they talk a bit funny and they sound a bit strange, but they give their last shilling, not ask for change. Nice. Is it Q?
Q.
Q is for Quaid, who reigns over us all, and R is for Rot, a small rodent of sorts. S is for snapping like oatcakes and lobby, and T is for Manley, where the folks are dead snobby. No, they're not. Potters lads, mums and bloody hell, I was driving up here tonight. There's people with potting sheds bigger than our house. Bloody hell, I've never seen so many horses. Potters lads, mums and dads, sisters and sons, they're first among equals, they're second to none. Well, they talk a bit funny and they sound a bit strange, but they give their last shilling and not ask for change. Now, I'll tell you something now, because this U is for Utchiter. Now, Utchiter is actually Utoxeter. So not only can't we count, we talk a bit funny, but we can't pronounce words with more than 2 syllables. Syllable, you know what I mean. U is for Utoxeter. To the side, U is for Utchiter. To the side, me is for virgins. There aren't many here. W is for Wedgwood, who makes the best chinas. The other 3 letters are very good rhymers. Potters lads, mums and dads, sisters and sons, who first among equals is second to none. Well, they talk a bit funny, they sound a bit strange, but they give their last shilling, not ask for change. Yes, they give their last shilling, not ask for change. Potters Alpha. So, okay, this isn't going to be all Stoke, but there's a bit of Stoke in this first half. I'm actually born in a place called Feggays, F-E-G-G-H-A-Y-E-S. A haze is like a copse. I have got no idea what Feg is. So if you've got any ideas, please, please share. No, not the slightest idea. Feg haze. But the main town, when I say the main town, they're saving up for a set of traffic lights, and it's that sort of place, but it was a mining town and a potteries town because the coke, the coal and the clay and the water from the Trent were all there together in the Trent Valley, and so all these towns, these 5 towns sprung down the Trent Valley, and I lived in Tunstall, and it's a bit of a rough town. The only place I'd ever known where the muggers have to have police protection from the junior school kids. What I liked, this is really it's strange because it's all a bit out of time now, because it was from the days when I used to live there, and I used to see in the terraced houses all these old ladies during the summer would be sitting outside. They'd bring a chair out to their parlour and have a chair outside in the street, and they'd be talking to each other up and down the street, and if anybody was ill, there'd be somebody takes something round for them, all this kind of stuff. And I used to think these old ladies, and I realised they were probably about 50. And so it's a bit out of time now. So when I say old ladies now, they'd have to be 160, wouldn't they, to meet me? Anyway, what I did, but they've knocked down a lot of those terraced houses now, and they built these new maisonettes, and it was very clever how they built them. They built them angled, so that when you looked out your window, you couldn't see another human being. It was completely devoid of any humanity, and I just wondered how these people, they were very nice, they were all like white and plastic and double glazed, but I just wondered how people who were living in that sort of situation really felt about these terraced houses. And I've been there recently, so I'm about sort of 30 years on. There's terraced houses, the ones that are left, Greengate Street and the Boulevard in Dunstan, never fails to make me laugh. Still look fine, but some of these old new places, they're just falling to bits. They're bloody, all the wood's rotten, the windows, it's terrible. So this song is called Bricks and Mortar, and there's a chorus in with which you're invited to join. I shall tell you this chorus as soon as it comes back to me. Bricks and mortar, sand and water, concrete, iron and steel. Bricks and mortar, sons and daughters, think and breathe and feel. A town can be constructed, but communities are grown. It takes more than bricks and mortar to make a house a home. I don't know the first line, that's the problem. Walk around your town, you'll be shocked at what they've done. They've knocked down all the terraces, they put up brand new slums, with woodwork floors, with woodwork doors, with plastic and steel. It's a pity that the people left to live in them are real. Bricks and mortar, sand and water, concrete, iron and steel. Bricks and mortar, sons and daughters, think and breathe and feel. A town can be constructed, but communities are grown. Takes more than bricks and mortar to make a house a home. All right. That wasn't. Well, they stood now for 100 years in peacetime and in war. With nothing but a lick of paint, they'd last 100 more. With care and ingenuity, they'd still be going strong. When the little concrete boxes they're building now are gone. Bricks and mortar, sand and water, concrete, iron and steel. Bricks and mortar, sons and daughters, think and breathe and feel. A town can be constructed, but communities are grown. Takes more than bricks and mortar to make a house a home. The red brick terraces, the old front doors and sashes, reduced to heaps of rubble and to piles of smouldering ashes. Through the smoke I saw the old folk watching from the path, while unconcerned the workmen burned their future and the past. Bricks and mortar, sand and water, concrete, iron and steel. Bricks and mortar, sons and daughters, think and breathe and feel. A town can be constructed, but communities are grown. Takes more than bricks and mortar to make a house a home. Like that, only loud. And I wondered if they really wanted patios and ponds, if they preferred the terraces, but back where they belong. I wondered if some 9 to 5 lumbered with the task had ever even bothered to get off his arse and ask. Bricks and mortar, sand and water, concrete, iron and steel. Bricks and and mortar, sons and daughters think, breathe and feel. A town can be constructed, but communities are grown. Takes more than bricks and mortar to make a house a home. You don't know what that feels like, do you? Have somebody sing while you're singing, it's just lovely. There's some more verses. I remember there's some more verses, I just don't remember what they are. It's the people in the houses, it's the well-to-do poor. The preacher, the publican, the bloke who lives next door. The mothers and the lovers and the sisters and the wives make a difference in the end between a living and a life. Come on. Bricks and mortar, sand and water, concrete, iron and steel. Bricks and mortar, sons and daughters think and breathe and feel. A town can be constructed, but communities are grown. Takes more than bricks and mortar to make a house a home. Takes more than plans and promises to make a place to live. Takes more than good intentions, if that's all you have to give. 'Cause you can't build flesh and feeling, nor get blood out of a stone. And it takes more than bricks and mortar to make a house a home. Shall we do it again? Bricks and mortar, sand and water, concrete, iron and steel. Bricks and mortar, sons and daughters think, breathe and feel. A town can be constructed, but communities are grown. It takes more than bricks and mortar to make a house a home. Thank you very much. I'm running out of time. Can I do two more? I want to do this for you. It's new. It's newish. It's newer. It's not new, but I think we were talking earlier on about how uncertain these times are from all the stuff we've been through and are going through. And this song came out of me, I don't know, 18 months ago, something like that. And it seems to sum up, to some extent, I think probably what we're going through. It's called The Peace Machine. Oh, we're funny little creatures. We scamper on the earth. We are made up of self-importance, convinced of our self-worth. We really think we're something smart and smooth and slick, when the evidence is pointing to us being a bit thick. But when you can build a peace machine, or one that turns the deserts green, or banish pain and poverty forever, when you restock the lakes and seas, fill the forest full of trees, come back then and tell me that you're clever. We don't half love our beamers, our Audis and our Mercs. We don't seem to give a damn that our obsession cost the earth. There's millions upon millions roaring up the motorway, millions upon millions roaring back the other way. When you can build a peace machine, or one that turns the deserts green, or banish pain and poverty forever. When you restock the lakes and seas, fill the forest full of trees, come back then and tell me that you're clever. Now we believe our scientists believe they're doing good, but they just don't get the 'cause you can don't always mean you should. To me they're more like children building castles on a beach. Well, the things they really need are slipping farther from our reach. And when you can build a peace machine, or one that turns the deserts green, or banish pain and poverty forever. When you restock the lakes and seas, fill the forests full of trees, come back then and tell me that you're clever. Oh, it's true, we split the atom, we yoked the power of suns. The first thing that we used it for was building bigger bombs. We stumbled on the laser, we'd have much preferred a phaser, or a death ray, or some other ghastly guns. But when you can build a peace machine, or one that turns the deserts green, banish pain and poverty forever. When you restock the lakes and seas, fill the forests full of trees, come back then and tell me that you're clever. Or we're facile fossil junkies, that there is no doubt. There's no sign we'll kick the habit till the lights start going out. It's true we power our planet on creatures dead for eons, so when we make plastic dinosaurs, we make them out of real ones. When you can build a peace machine, or one that turns the deserts green, or banish pain and poverty forever. When you restock the lakes and seas, fill the forests full of trees, come back then and tell me that you're clever. Now it won't be in my time, but I have my hopes and dreams that those that follow after me will find the ways and means to use the brains they're born with to get us back on track before we hit the tipping point and there's no turning back. When you can build a peace machine, or one that turns the deserts green, or banish pain and poverty forever. When you restock the lakes and seas, fill the forests full of trees, come back then and tell me that you're clever. When hunger is a memory, a walking sign to history, come back then and tell me that you're clever. You might have heard this song before, but I've actually had one of those days today. I've had one of those days where everything you touch turns to rubbish. I'm not going to go through the details of it, but it culminated with Mark getting in touch with me about 10 to 6 and saying, excuse me Mark, I know I can't do your accent very well, but I just like trying. You know the M56 is closed.
I'm not George Formby.
This is a song called It's Going to Be One of Those Days, and please join in with It's Going to Be One of those days. It happens absolutely everywhere. It's been one of those days. When you find you slept through your alarm clock and you can't find clean knickers or socks, or when number one daughter's used all the hot water and there's no tea bags left in the box, when the orange juice carton is empty and the coffee pot's furry and green, the only bread's frozen, the toaster is broken, and you struggle to stifle a scream. Well, it's going to be one of those days. It's going to be one of those days. But don't think these things always happen to you. The creation has cursed everything that you do. For the rich and the famous have their moments too, and it's going to be one of those days. You got it? Give it some lung, as they say in stuff. Now there's icebergs ahead, said the first mate to the captain what stood on the bridge. On the Titanic there was no sign of panic. The captain was cool as a fridge. They can't harm us at all, he said smiling. Hold your course, keep a full steam ahead. Soon after noting the carpets were floating, he turns to the first mate and said, oh, it's going to be one of those days. It's going to be one of those days. Now why do these things always happen to me? Just how unlucky can anyone be? This is not going to look too good on me CV. It's going to be one of those days. Dr. Livingstone lived in the jungle with a tribe what thought he was a god. Well, he got 40 wives, gold and silver besides. He was set up for life. Then Stanley strides into the clearing with his pishak Then Stanley strides into the clearing with his pith hat, machete and shorts. I presume you are one Dr. D. Livingstone, at which the good doctor retorts, it's going to be one of those days. It's going to be one of those days. Here I was living the life of a toff. Now Stanley's caused a complete catastrophe. I wish he'd just take his pith hat and pith off. Oh, it's going to be one of those days. Now there's no disputing Rasputin was cute in a mad monkish way. He was giving Katrina, the lovely Tsarina, more than spiritual guidance, they say. So the Tsar he arranged for his maiden, and he hired a head monk for the job, to stab him and shoot him and electrocute him. No names and no pack drilled and mob. Here we go. Oh, it's going to be one of those days. Yes, it's going to be one of those days. If there's trouble about, you can bet as I have it. Is it my fault the Tsarina goes like a rabbit? If this is mad monking, I'm changing me habit. It's going to be one of those days. If you ever have one of those mornings when nothing you do will go right, and everything that you touch from the time you get up congeals into one great heap of rubbish, well, don't think it's your fault if any, you know. It's not something you've eaten or said, and all you can do when it happens to you is sing as you go back to bed. Oh, it's going to be one of those days. It's going to be one of those days. Oh, it isn't a blessing, it feels like a curse when things keep on turning from bad into worse, and you can't even think of a line for this song that'll rhyme or scan or any bloody thing. Well, it's going to be one